So first I start off with my warm-up, and when it's glute day, my warm-up consists of glute activation techniques rather than running or rowing or anything to do with cardio. Right now I'm just focused on activating the glutes, making sure that they're firing before I go on to the heavier stuff. Right here I'm doing crab walks with a curtsey lunge, and they're already burning. Now I'm just gonna do straight crab walk all the way across. I keep my butt low as possible while I'm taking baby steps. And here I don't know what to do with my hands, obviously. A couple of more. I'm just doing these until I can't do them anymore, basically. And I'm making sure to spread my knees apart to keep tension on the band the entire time. Now I move into a squat and curtsey lunge combo. So I do a squat, curtsey lunge, squat, curtsey lunge. This is going to help activate the glutes from a different angle. That's hurting. At this point, they're burning, they're firing for sure. So now I bring it down to the floor. I get my mat. I leave my resistance band on. I position myself back flat against the floor, hands palms down, and I bring my heels right underneath my knees. I drive my knees outward to keep tension on the band, and I start bringing my glutes all the way up. I squeeze starting from the bottom. I don't wait until I'm at the very top. I start squeezing the glutes when I'm at the bottom, and I bring the hips up as high as I can. Now I'm adding a pulse, an open-close pulse at the very top, and then bring it back down. And I repeat this a couple of times. Okay, here I finally take the band off, and I'm crossing one leg over the other leg. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm bringing the hips as far up as I possibly can. I dig my other heel into the floor. I press my hands down into the floor. And I'm just using one glute now to lift the hips. And then I switch and do the other side. I do this about 10 reps on each side, and then I do about 3 sets total. And the final one is I do a straight leg kickback. Right here I tap one side, I come up, and then I bring it back down to the other side. So I'm kind of doing a triangle here with my toe, if you can tell. Then I switch it and I do the other leg. This way, instead of just, kicking straight back, this way I'm targeting different angles of the glutes when I do from one side to the other. And I know I'm not doing a great job of it right here, but I'm trying my best to keep my torso as still as possible. I'm trying to keep it from wobbling all over the place. And now I'm just stretching them out. So I'm doing a few quick stretches right now just to make sure that I have good mobility throughout the rest of my lifts, and loosening everything up as I should. This is a good hip opener, which will come in handy as well when I'm doing my later on sumo squats. Okay, it's time to move on to the heavier stuff. Right here I'm doing weighted donkey kicks on the Smith machine. So I have a hack that I found very useful. I'm going to show it to you guys. It helps the little latch from catching on the hooks when you lift your leg. And as we all know, if you've tried this, it's really hard to do when the latch keeps, catching on to the hooks. So I'll show you guys what I did to fix that so I don't have to worry about that. All I have to concentrate on now is just getting that bar up. So I'm doing several reps at a time. So I'm trying to get in at least sets of 10 to 15 reps, depending on the weight. So if I have lighter weight, I do a lot more reps. And I start off by doing that first, and then I move on to heavier weight, and then I bring down the number of reps. I've noticed that sometimes people like to get down on their elbows, but for me, once it starts to get heavy and hard, I like to bring my chin down to the mat. I just stick my chin down on the mat, and I keep my hands on the mat for leverage. To me, I feel like I have a better grip on the bar. And you want to make sure that you're always stretching in between each set. It'll also help if you're prone to cramping up. It'll help you not to cramp. So always stretch between your sets while you're resting. And here I'm adding pulses at the top. So I finish it out with several pulses before bringing it all the way back down. And that will get you. And we finish out with the other side. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to my Romanian deadlifts. And notice that here I am using a stepper to step up on. This is because I'm on the shorter side, my legs are short. So using a stepper for me adds that extra height that I need so I can get down low with the barbell. See how I go all the way down, and it lets me go past the point where normally I would only be able to get down a few inches. So I want to stick my hips back, make sure I keep a flat back, and by doing this it helps with my form. And what I do for this is I make sure that I'm looking forward. I don't look down at the floor when I'm coming down. I look straight ahead. A couple more just to show you that I do not completely lock out my knees. I do slightly bend them. I just make sure that my hips don't lower. I want to keep my hips and my glutes nice and high. Unlike the American deadlift where you do bring your hips down, this one you keep your hips nice and high and you bring those hips back. Okay, so now I move on to the other heavier lift. It's called the Sumo deadlift. For the Sumo deadlift, I want Sumo stance, which means feet are very, very wide apart, toes are flared outward, knees are flared out. And when you do this, you want to make sure that your grip, it is wide enough between both hands so that you can have better balance with the barbell, so it's not tilting to one side or the other when you come up. And you're simply going up and down just like a regular deadlift, but you have wide stance. And I'm doing 4 sets of 10. So now to finish it off, what I do is I grab this big purple ball, okay, that's what I call mine, and I lay flat on my back. I bring my hips all the way up, I put my heels on top of the ball, and then I roll it all the way in towards my glutes. I am trying to maintain my hips as high as possible. I do not bring them down at any time. And I do that until it hurts so much that I can't keep going. So to start off, I just put my heels on top of the center of the ball. I press my hands down onto the floor while keeping my hips high, and then I roll that into my glutes, straight into my glutes. I flare my toes out. This also gives me a different angle. I feel like it centralizes the tension. Now to end things, I'm going to do about 10 minutes of some light cardio. That's it. I'm not doing a lot. Today was not for cardio. It was meant to break down and then grow the glutes. So I'm just doing this for a little extra sweat. Here's a little trick that I was going to share with you guys. When you're doing your weighted donkey kicks, grab a small piece of rope and use it to tie the latch and the rest of the piece, so that when you are going up and down, it automatically stays back and it doesn't catch on the hooks.